Hi friends, hope you are doing great. Today we are going to see this demo, Dataform in GCP. So Dataform, it is a fully managed serverless service on GCP which helps the data analysts and engineers develop, version control and orchestrate SQL workflows for data transformation in BigQuery. So basically it is building scalable data pipelines in BigQuery by using the SQL. So it is manages the T transform stage in extract low transformation data integration process. So that is what the things, friends, data form. So in simple terms, I could say it will be building the scalable data pipelines in BigQuery by using the SQL. Okay. Now we are going to see these steps, friends. First, we are going to create a data form repository and a workspace. Second, we are going to declare the raw source table. Then next, we are going to write the transformation, the SQL.SQLS file, and add a data quality test. Then finally, we are going to execute the workflow, friends. So this is the steps which we are going to cover it today. Okay. Now I have opened my Google Cloud Console. So here I have the scripts, friends. Okay, so before that we need to create the tables, friends. Okay, physical tables we need to create the raw transaction table. We have to create it. Okay, so this is like staging. I could say raw transaction, right? Raw data. We could say, friends. So I'm going entering into the BigQuery, Google BigQuery. So we are going step by step, friends. You can also follow it. Okay, so if you are unable to follow the concepts, theory part, no need to worry, friends. We are going to see in detail. Okay. So now I'm going to create a table, friends. So first we are going to create the table, the raw transaction table. Before that, I need to create the data set first because I don't have the data sets. So I'm going to create this analytics underscore raw data sets. I'm going to create. This is my project ID, friends. So you have to replace with your project ID and you can give the data set name. So I'm going to create this data set, friends. So you can see options, locations I have given US. So like that you can also do it, friends. So now we have successfully created the data set. Next, I'm checking it, friends. Okay. So successfully created the analytics underscore raw. Okay, this is the data set name. Okay, so we can see the name, the results also. Okay, fine. Now I'm going to create a table, friends. Okay, the table name is raw transactions, raw underscore transactions. So create a table. We have this columns like a tax, TXID, customer ID, transaction, amount used, status column. So these are the columns we are going to use it, friends. Now I'm going to create it, friends. So just I'm replacing this query. Now I'm creating this table. Okay. So we can use this script, friends. So you have to replace with your project ID. Now we can see, friends, under the analytics raw data set. So we have created the raw underscore transactions without having any data, friends. Okay, there is no data to display. You can see preview. There is no data to display. Then you can see the details. So we can see the details also, friends. Table ID has been created. Okay. Now, next step is we have to insert the records, friends. So we are going to insert the few records into that particular table. That is a raw transaction table we are going to insert it, friends. So now I am going to insert a few records. Okay. Let me insert a few records, friends. I'm going to run it now. So before that, you can see this, friends. Insert into then project ID, data set and table name. You can see that column name followed by the values. Okay. Now I'm going to insert this records. When there are 30 number of rows, I'm going to add it, friends. Now you can see the statement added 30 rows to the raw underscore transactions. Okay. Now I'm going to click preview. So there is no data to display. Okay. Just click refresh. It will come, friends. Okay. Sounds great. So now you can see there are 30 number of rows we have. Okay. Number of rows is 30. We have TXID and the customer ID, the transaction timestamp, amount used, like that we have, friends. Okay, so amount used, just to focus on it, friends. Amount used. Okay, here we have null value, friends. Okay, here we have null value. Then here we have the minus negative value. Again, you can see, friends, NAN. So this is not the amount, right? So now you can see the status column failed in with lowercase, pending in uppercase, success in uppercase, success in lowercase. Again, failed in lowercase. Likewise, we have uppercase as well as the lowercase also, friends. Pending again lowercase, returned we have lowercase. So now this is the data, friends. It's like a raw data, right? So now we are going to change that, friends. This is the validation, friends. So this is a data validation query. Okay. So what we are going to do means we are going to do some data validation, friends. What I want means in the that the status column, I need success or failed with uppercase. Okay. We have the lowercase also, right? You can see. Now I'm going to replace this query, friends. Okay. So you can see select, sorry, just okay. So you can see, friends, we have, I'm going to run this query. Okay. Let me explain it. So we have the TXID, customer ID, and amount used as a numeric, friends. I'm giving the alias name as transaction amount. So it should be a numeric only. It should not have null value or it should not have any or any other values, friends. So that's what I'm giving the numeric. Okay. So transaction amount, I'm giving the alias, friends. Okay, for this amount used column. Then next is the status column. So status, it should be uppercase, friends. The status, it should be only uppercase. It should not come lowercase, friends. Upper trim status functions. This I'm using it for this, friends. Okay, transaction underscore status. This is the new column, alias column. Yeah, I'm putting it. Okay, then timestamp process that it will come. Then you can see, friends, amount underscore used is not null. Then I'm giving the where condition filtering. I'm doing it, friends. Okay. If it is then status also is not null and amount also is not null. Okay. Now you can see the friends. Again, it is showing 30 number of rows only. You can see, but the transaction status is we have uppercase, friends. We don't have any lowercase letters. You can see success, we have failed, we have pending, we have returned, we have everything, but it is in uppercase, friends. Okay. Now we are doing some data validation only. Okay. Then transaction amount, friends. So here you can see, just focus on it, friends. So here you can see in the transaction amount, we don't have any, we have a null value, right? One is null value. Again, sorry, already we have that null value. Okay, again, one more NAN value, it was that, right? Okay. So this one is -5, it is coming. Okay. So there are two null values it will be reflecting. So you can see, friends, T003. Okay, customer is 023. So this is the raw transactions. I'm checking the raw transaction. T003, customer 23. That is customer 23. We have NAN record. Okay, amount used is NAN. But in our transformation, right, this one query, right? So this query, it is updated as null, friends. That is what we have run that query. NAN, it was changed to null. Okay, because we have given the condition, friends. In the query, we have done it. Okay, in the query we have done it, friends. So now we are entering into this data form. Okay, now only we are entering into the data form. So already we have done some data validation only. That is for our understanding, friends. That is for our understanding, which I have done. So the same query we are going to use it for the data form, friends. Okay, now we are entering into the data form. Just navigate to the data form, friends. So here I have here we are going to create a data form repository and workspace, friends. So now I'm going to click the data form. So here we can click create a repository, friends. Okay, so here we are clicking the create a repository. It's like our GitHub repo only, friends. Okay, now I am giving the name, friends. Okay, so now I am giving the name. So I'm giving the name and I'm selecting the region. Okay, so region I'm selecting, and the service account I'm selecting as a default one only, not a problem. So just to create it, friends. Now I have successfully created the repository. The next step, we have to create a workspace, friends. Just click this repo. Here we have the create development workspace. Okay, now I'm giving the name as dev underscore workspace, friends. Okay, then create. So already we created the repo and workspace also. Now we created the workspace, friends. Just click workspace now. So now you can see initialize, friends. Open the workspace and click initialize workspace. Actually this setups the basic folder structure, friends. Okay, now left side you can see the folder, it will come automatically. Okay, now see, friends, there are two files, friends. We have SQLs. I'm removing it, friends, because unnecessarily it will be uh, unnecessary, it is adding. So it is a, like a template, friends. Okay, if you have, no need to worry, just I'm building it. Okay, so definitions, under the definitions we are going to declare the raw source table, friends. So first step, we are going to entering into this declaring the raw source table. Okay, we need to tell data form about the raw table it will be reading from. Okay, so that's what we are going to do it, friends. Okay, So now I'm copying this path, friends. So here you can click three dots. Okay, click create file, friends. So here you can put the path, friends, file path, friends. So sources, you remove that slash home slash. Okay, so sources raw transaction dot SQLX. That SQLX, which is an open source extension of the standard SQL, used as the primary language in the Google Cloud Dataform service for building and managing the data transformation pipelines in BigQuery. Okay, so now you have that raw transaction.sqlx file. Now I'm copying this config file, friends. Now I'm copying this config file. I am pasting it here, friends. Okay, so config, we have the type as a declaration. Okay, then next database, this is my project ID. This is a schema, that is a data set name. This is the table name, friends. Okay, so data form which is looking for the same. Okay, now we have given it, friends. Then next we are going to write a transformation, the SQLS file, again the .sqls file first. Okay, now we are going to create actual SQL logic to clean and standardize the data first. Okay, now you can see the staging transactions .sqls files. Okay, now I'm going to paste the following code, friends. So you can copy this code. Okay, you can copy this code up to this, friends. Okay, I will explain the last two rows, friends, save first. Okay, so now I am copying this up to this because we already did it, right? We have already done this the data validation, the same query only. Okay, okay, the same query only we are giving it. Let me remove this, friends. Okay, so you can see the config first part and second part is select statement. Okay, select and then transform the data. Okay, now let me explain these things, friends. Okay, so the same query only we have given, but small changes we have done it, friends. Maybe you would have seen that changes. Okay, so first we need to update the config type as a table and the schemas, analytics and staging, friends, because this is staging, right? Then descriptions, whatever descriptions I can give, cleaned and standardized transaction data. Okay, now we can select and transform the data. So select TX ID, customer ID, and this query we have already seen, friends, under the data validation, right? So see, friends, focus on this. This is important. Reference, okay, dollar symbol, reference, the raw transaction, that is the file name, friends, because already we have done it, right? Raw transaction underscore SQL. The same name we are giving, friends, the raw underscore transaction dot SQL. This is the reference file we are giving it, friends. The same name only I'm giving it here. Okay, I'm taking that data from there. That's what I'm giving. That's it, friends. The reference raw underscore transaction as alias as T I'm giving. Okay, there is no error right now. So just I'm going to click run, friends. You can see the results. There are 30 number of records it was showing, right? You can see it here also. The same, whatever we have done it already in the data validation by using the SQL query, sorry, by using the Google BigQuery, right? So the same logic only I have applied it, friends. So here you can run it also, friends. I will tell you, friends. Okay, so no need to worry. I will tell you and explaining in detail. Okay, once end, then you can see that. So now you can see, friends, I have checked it also here. I have executed this query also. You can see that there are uppercase letters in the transaction status and transaction amount. There are two null values. Okay, then one is a negative value -5. Okay, so now we can see there are 30 records. Number of records is 30. Okay. Now we are going to the final step, friends. So this is the add data quality test, friends. Okay. We will add a simple test to ensure the data integrity. Okay. Now again the same steps, friends. We are going to create a file. So here I am going to give the path as assertion asset underscore transactions underscore amount dot SQLS, friends. Okay. Now I am creating this file. I'm going to paste some code, friends, here. So the same logic here also some config type as assertion. This is for data quality check related. And I am copying this query, friends. This query should return zero rows. If this query should return the zero rows, friends. If it return rows, the assertion failed. Okay, now you can see type as assertion. This query should return zero rows. If it returns rows, the assertion will be failed, friends. Okay. So select star. Then you can see, friends, stage transaction from this from here we are taking, friends. Okay, dot SQLs, right? Stage transaction reference. Then transaction amount less than zero. Less than zero means it will be like a negative values, right? Okay, negative values. Okay, so now we are going to run it, friends. Maybe uh, we'll see friends. Okay, less than 0 if it is coming. Okay, so you can see friends, not found. Okay, staging was not found in location US. So no need to worry friends. Up to this, you are clear, I guess, right? No need to worry friends. You don't run this, okay? You don't run this query. Let me explain it. Okay, let me explain it. Just wait for that. Okay. Now, up to this, I think you are clear. You are following. Now, we are going to execute the workflow, friends. Okay, we are going to execute the workflow. This is the final step, start execution, and you can see this all access, click all access, and here start execution, friends. So this is the workflow we are executing. Okay, now you can see the execution, friends. Okay, now we can see the executions. This is the start time. You can see duration, source type. You can see. So this is the compiled graph also. In the compilation results, we can see the dependency graph for data automatically created, friends. Okay. Oh, you can see, friends, we are getting some errors. So I'm clicking this. I'm going to view it. See, friends, the stage transaction. The first thing is that first one is stage transactions is it was working fine, but asset transactions amount action is not working. I mean, we are getting some failed message. You can see this is first one is success. Okay, first is success, but the second assertion is getting failed, friends, because the expected is 0 rows, but something we are getting it, friends. Okay, some the query should return 0 rows only. But if it returns rows, then it will get failed. That is what the thing is. Okay. Now, what I am trying to do, I am going to refresh this Google BigQuery. Okay. Now you can see the magic, friends. Now you can see the magic. Okay. So this is the data. This is the pipeline, friends. Okay. We created the data pipeline. We have built the data pipeline by using this data form. Now you can see we have the raw transaction, okay, which we have already created under the analytics law. But the analytics staging and data form assessor automatically created first. We didn't create any physical data, right? It was created automatically. Okay. Now we are going to see this raw transactions. Here we have number of records is 30. Okay. It is a raw transaction. It is a raw data, we could say. Here we can see the status column, lowercase and uppercase. Okay. Then you can see stage transactions, which was created by this data form, data pipeline. So here you can see that transaction status is only uppercase, failed, success, pending, return. Yes. And the transaction amount is we have null. Okay, null record. There are two null record and one is a negative values. Okay. This is already we executed the same thing only, friends. It's just I would like to say, okay, the data validations I have already done it. Okay, so you can verify this T0030. Okay, in the raw transactions as well as the our stage transactions. Okay, here you can see T0030 is customer 23, right? T00 none, NAN, it has been already there. But in our stage transaction, it is captured as null, friends, because we executed the query like that only, right? That is what. Now we are entering into this asset transaction amount. This is the view will be created. Okay, the view will be created, friends, automatically because we have given the conditions, right? Okay. So you can see, I'm going to run it, friends, so that it will be good for you. So I'm going to run this view. You can see, friends, the negative value has been captured here. Okay, there are one negative value, so that's what the assessment got failed, friends. The last pipeline got failed. Okay, the last one means the third one. After the staging transaction, it was coming success, but the asset transactions, it was getting failed, friends. Now, again, I'm going to modify some changes, friends. Okay, I'm going to modify some changes in the staging file, stage transaction dot SQLX file, friends. So I'm going to add few more, friends, few more code. I think already I told, right, and the save cost. That two line I'm going to add it, friends. Save cost is two lines only. Let me copy this code and I'm going to replace it, friends. So I hope you are following, friends. So I hope you are following it. Let's see. Okay. Now I have added it, friends. So, but optional but recommended, filter out records where the save cost fail. Okay, if it is not null, then it will. Then second is non-positive. Example, -5 record, friends. Okay, where the amount is non-positive. So now I have added this condition also, friends. Now you can see, friends, the magic it will happen. If amount is used is not null. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to check it, friends, again. Now we are I have executed it. Now you can see the magic. So there are 27 records only. So that negative record has been removed it, and also that two null value record has been removed it. Okay, that is what we have added this first. It's not null conditions for the transaction that amount used, and also numeric value. If it is less than zero, just remove that. Like that, we are giving and the conditions we have given first. Okay. Okay, greater than symbol we have got, sorry, numeric greater than symbol. So zero above, after zero only it will reflect. Okay, greater than zero. So less than value it will be gone, friends. You can see now again the 27 records only it will be received in the this one. So again I am running the same thing, friends. Select actions for all actions. I'm going to check it. Start execution before that. So now I'm clicking the start execution, friends. Okay. So now the workflow has been successfully created. Now again go to the execution. Now you can see, friends. Oh, this is executing right now. Okay. So it will take some time. Then we are going to check it, friends. Okay. Let me refresh the page. Okay. I think it will be coming success, friends. Okay. I hope you understood the concepts, friends. So first we are getting failed message. Then here second is we are getting the success message. Now you can see there are two pipeline got success. Stage transaction as well as asset transaction amount as success, friends. Okay. Now let me check this one. Okay. Now I'm going to refresh the Google BigQuery, friends. Now you can see there are two data set, right? Staging and this data form related. Now we are going to check that one, friends. Okay. Okay. Now let me check that one. Okay. So now I'm going to open that staging transactions as well as the data form related data form assessment. So you can see analytics raw table. Here we have analytics the staging data set. Then we have the data form assessment, raw transaction table. So in the raw transactions, already you know, we have number of records is 30. We have 30 number of records, minus value, negative value. There are one null value, one is NaN column that amount used. But in the stage transactions, you can see only 27 number of records only, friends, because that two null value and the negative values has been gone, friends. That is what we have given the conditions in the query. Okay, the transaction amount you can see, uh, it has been gone. So number of records is 27. Then asset transactions is very important. So in the asset transactions, you can see, friends, in the details, you can see the view ID. Okay, so view ID you can see this is the view has been created, friends. Now I am going to execute this, friends. Okay, I'm going to execute it. Let's see, friends, less than zero. Now you won't get any data, friends. There is no data to display. Then only your assertion will not get failed, friends. That is what we have given the condition, right? That is what we have given the condition, friends. Okay, assertion transaction amount that action is not getting failed. Okay, basically, basically what we are doing is basically yeah, asset transactions, we have done it first. Okay. So I hope you understood the concept, friends. So query error, we previously query error, we got it, but here we didn't get it, friends. So we have executed the workflow. So in our query, so the return zero rows if it returns if it returns rows, assertion fail, friends. Okay. If not, then you don't get failed. So now I am deleting this, friends. So I'm deleting the workspace and I'm deleting the repository also. The final results it came the new clean and tested table. Okay, we created in the BigQuery, friends. If the assertion failed, example negative amount was found, the entire pipeline execution will be getting failed and it will like failed message we have seen, right? The same thing only, friends. So now I am deleting the uh, data set. I mean data set also I'm deleting it, friends. So I hope you understood the concept, friends. If you are having any issues, please put the comments. I will try to resolve it, friends. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.